Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining today from the Better Business Bureau here in southern, well, it's all of Wisconsin technically, but she's our southern rep. It's Tiffany Schultz, Better Business Bureau. Tiffany, welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm ready for spring.
I am too. And speaking of spring, you may be thinking about getting into a new house, or maybe moving into a condo, or whatever you want to proceed on doing. During that time, you probably got to hire a home inspector, and today we're going to be talking about tips on hiring a home inspector. It's very interesting. We were kind of talking off air. There was a short period when the housing market was so hot that you couldn't even get an inspector because you're doing all this bidding more, and that kind of left the door open for some weird circumstances. I would think you'd want a home inspector to check things out. This is a great way of knowing what is actually happening in the house, things that you might, as a consumer, might not even consider looking for.
Hiring a home inspector is a huge piece of the puzzle. When you've put an offer in on the house, or you're about to put an offer in on the house, it may look perfect from the outside, but there could be internal things that really need to be addressed. And by hiring a home inspector, you're going to know those problems up front, either to be able to renegotiate with the seller, or you're going to be able to have a plan moving forward about things that need to be fixed.
I was shocked. First-time home buyer, my wife and I bought the first home. Blown away. There were things that we had never considered. They were like, this isn't code because the wall is in front of the water heater, blah, blah. I was like, wait, what? That's a deal? Like, that makes any sense? At any rate, when you choose to bring in this person, first thing, when hiring any company, the research that you're doing on it, where would you start?
You want to check the company out. You want to find a home inspector, and it's great to get recommendations from your realtor, friends, or family, but it's also super important to do your homework on your own. Start on BBB.org. You're going to want to check out their rating, reviews, complaints. If they're BBB accredited, it means that they meet or exceed our 8 standards of trust, and it also means that they have been given the seal of approval by the BBB, meaning that they're properly licensed to do the work that they're doing, background check, and that you can feel confident in order to move forward with that company. So really do homework, because these people are the ones who are going to be finding any problems for the house that you're purchasing.
I like this tip of checking with your friends and family on recommendations. We checked with our realtor, and she had like 5 choices for us to choose from. And it's like, well, at least you've worked with them, so you know that they're going to do a thorough job instead of finding somebody that you don't know anything about.
And that's a really good place to start. But after you get those recommendations, you want to do your own homework, because things can and they do change.
Absolutely. If you do get that person in there, what would be where do you even start at knowing, what questions are you going to ask? How are you going to know what they're looking for as they're doing that inspection? You're
going to want to find somebody who knows the type of home that you're purchasing. So are you purchasing a single family? What is their experience? You don't want to hire somebody who does commercial inspections for a single home. So if you're a first-time home buyer, you're going to have a lot of questions. And it's okay to ask that person how often they work with first-time home buyers. Is it somebody who really works with experienced home buyers, or somebody who is patient and can explain everything to a first-time home buyer?
What about, checking to see if they belong to a professional organization? Why would that be beneficial?
This is really important. The more professional organizations that they belong to, the more recommendations and backing that they have. Companies who are legitimate and professional, they're going to want those certifications, whether it's the local chamber, the local Home Inspectors Association, the BBB. They want people to know that they can be trusted.
Next one is making sure that they're doing it for your interest. So this gets a little cloudy, I think, because if the bank was doing it or leading the charge, or the lender potentially, there's rules. There's lots of rules there. But you want to make sure that they are, trying to help you find things and make sure that you are legitimately getting what you pay for.
Right, and that's what you're hiring them for. You're hiring them to find the problem. So, going back to those certifications, going back to their memberships, going back to their BBB accreditation, that's a good clue in the right direction that you could trust this person to find those problems and not be in cahoots with another organization.
And then be present for the inspection. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Again, first-time home buyer, when I had it done, I was like, oh my gosh, That's what? That? Really? You know, it's pretty shocking.
An inspection can take 3 to 4 hours, so it's going to be a good portion of your day. But if you've never owned a home before, the home inspector can show you how things work. You know, maybe a light switch is connected to another light switch, and how do you change the furnace filter? You know, how do I access my roof? You know, what's up in the attic? How do I get there? You know, there's so many questions that a home inspector can answer, and they're happy to do so.
And finally, the report. So you want them to be, and this be part of your research up front, I would assume. You want, what are you going to get? So it's one thing to do the walkthrough, but what is that report? What's that takeaway that you're going to get from them?
And that's a question that you should ask the home inspector. What type of report am I going to get? And depending on the company and the home inspector, reports are all across the board. And, you know, I reference the homes that I have bought over the years, too, because every inspector is different. They should be pointing out the safety issues, though, because there's going to be things that are maintenance issues that are called out on the report. There's going to be things that are in satisfactory condition, and there's going to be things that these are a pretty immediate place, and these are safety issues. And the safety issues need to be addressed, and those need to be addressed with the real estate agent and the seller, because those are going to need to be fixed or addressed even before the house can close. If you don't hire a home inspector and you waive the home inspection of a home, you are completely on your own. There is no recourse. So that home inspector can save you thousands before you actually sign on the line.
Again, they shouldn't be knowing what they're looking for or help you find it. My favorite thing out of my report was there was a like first time home fixing book, like how to fix, you know, how to deal with light switches, I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. But either way, I think it's really important. And if you want to learn more about just hiring, you've got some great information. We've talked about this on the show many times of just hiring a contractor in general or hiring somebody. Some great information out there. But you want to learn more on this topic and more, how can they do so?
BBB.org.
Tiffany, always a pleasure. Appreciate the time. And home inspections, they're pretty cool. I guess it turns out I'm a geek in that. I'm just going to throw that out there. Who knew? But I appreciate the time as always.
Thanks for having me.